Hello everyone, and thanks for taking some time to learn more about the ACT and PARCC testing that will take place this spring. My name is Lance Fuhrer. I'm an assistant principal for curriculum and instruction, and I want to share with you some details about our testing schedule and how we're going to accomplish both of these tests this spring. First, most juniors in the state of Illinois, including Neuqua Valley and District 204, are going to be taking the ACT Plus on March 3rd. This is a state ACT. It's an ACT that will help contribute toward a student's college admissions process. This is the same state ACT that kids used to take as a part of the PSAE, the Prairie State Achievement Exam, that used to be in April. And the state has moved the testing date up about 6 weeks, so it will take place on March 3rd. What's new is PARCC testing. And there are two phases to PARCC testing. First is the performance-based assessment, called PBA, and the second is the end-of-year assessment, EOY. The PBA testing will take place on March 16th through 19th, and the end-of-year assessment is going to take place on April 27th through the 30th. Both of those dates are within windows of testing that the state has set, and we chose them based on a number of different factors. One, for the PBA testing, we wanted to make sure there was a week in between the ACT and the PARCC testing. And for EOY, for example, we are testing in April when the window goes into May, because May brings AP testing, and we didn't want those two things to overlap. Unlike the ACT, which is a test given to a single grade level, students taking the PARCC test, it's based on what course they're enrolled in two subjects, math and English. For math, freshmen through senior students who are enrolled in Algebra 2 and Trig, or Honors Algebra 2 Trig, they will be taking the math PARCC test. For students that are juniors and seniors and enrolled in English 3 or AP English 3, they will be taking the English, also known as the ELA, English Language Arts PARCC test. In the email that you received that gave you a link to this video, there's also an attachment to a handout that has a flow chart that allows you to further explore who exactly takes PARCC testing. At Neuqua Valley, we're going to do the PARCC testing on the 16th through the 19th of March of 2015, but the process actually begins on the prior Friday, the 13th. Because PARCC testing is online, all students need to take a 30-minute training on the computer to acclimate themselves to what it is like to take a test on the computer and to learn how to use some of the digital tools and interactive parts of the testing process. Students in the math and ELA classes that will be testing, they're actually going to do the training in those classrooms. For the remaining of the tests that will take place on the 16th to the 19th, these tests are going to take place in other places than classrooms, because we have to still have school for all students that are not testing on these 4 days. So that is a pretty significant challenge for us. So beginning on March 16th, we begin with the math PBA performance-based test. And it is two parts. There's a 90-minute test and a 75-minute test. And we will be testing at both the main and the freshman buildings, because we have students at the freshman level that are in Algebra 2 Trig and Honors Algebra 2 Trig. And they'll be testing periods 1 through 4. Because there are only two tests, they're able to complete both of those in one day. For ELA or English, we need 3 days to do this, because there are 3 tests and they cannot really take 3 of these tests in a row. So for students whose last name is A through L and are in English 3 or AP English 3, they're going to be taking the first 2 of 3 ELA PARCC tests on March 17th. Students with last name M through Z are going to take those first 2 tests of 3 on the 18th. And then on the 19th, students, any last name, are going to take the third of those 3 ELA PARCC tests. Because we have a regularly scheduled school day where students who are not testing are still attending classes, lunches are a challenge for us, particularly because we begin those at our school at third hour, which is 9 o'clock in the morning. So what we've done is we've changed our bell schedule, that at the main building from March 16th through 19th, periods 1 through 4 will be 55 minutes long, and periods 5 through 8 will be 41 or 42 minutes long. This is a schedule that will only be used at the Freshman Center on Monday, March 16th, because they're only giving the math PARCC test there. The reason we're lengthening those first 4 periods is so students can do 2 things. One, we need to give them ample time to complete each of the tests in the testing protocol. And we also need to provide a time for those students who are testing that eat lunch 3rd and 4th. We need to give them a chance to eat lunch. And they'll do so the second half of 4th hour. So when they begin 5th hour, they will attend their regularly scheduled 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th period classes on these days. The spaces that we're going to use to test include at the freshman building the LMC and our forum room, room H128. And at the main building, in addition to a few select classrooms, a majority of students are going to be either in the auditorium lobby, our black box, our library, or one of our forum rooms. What are the implications for students testing, and why is this a challenge? Well, lunches, as mentioned before, given our custom schedule, that will be a challenge for some students because that second half of 4th period will be kind of crowded, but we do feel like we can still fit the number of students that will need to eat. We can still fit them in our lunchroom. Over the next few weeks, teachers will begin to poll students about what classes they're in. Let's say I'm a social studies teacher and I don't know maybe what math or English class my students might be in, and I teach 3rd hour. I'm going to survey my students and ask them what their math or English classes are. If they are in the classes that are PARCC testing, I will then know what days they will be absent. And then once I know that, I'm going to take into account those absent students and plan my coursework for the PARCC testing windows accordingly. We know we need to make modifications of our expectations of students during this time. We do not want to saddle students who are already taking some difficult PARCC tests with making up quote-unquote homework that they might have missed or other assignments that are occurring during the classes that they're missing because they're PARCC testing. So we're going to make some modifications to that, and our goal is to make this as smooth as possible. I won't say that it will be easy. This is a first time for students, a first time for schools, and obviously a first time for parents to experience PARCC testing. And we want to make sure that we give students and teachers every opportunity to have this go well for them. If you have any further questions about some of the details that I reviewed today, here's my email, lance_fuhrer@ipsd.org, and I've also included my phone number if that's a way that you'd like to contact me. I'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.